east side, west side,
Oh boy. Good morning, it's 7:40. Man, we're just bumping all local music here on.
Gosh.
I'm gonna play Zeng Zung next.
Okay. Get ready.
Get ready.
We got to get the Jason cam ready.
Yeah, we do, man. The twerk. 7:40. Let's get Lasia Casil from Hagatna Revitalization on here by way of Zoom. Good morning, Lasia.
Good morning. How are you?
Morning.
You look great.
Yes.
This is so.
You guys are bouncing. Oh,
we were
off the
just
wall.
fangirling over your hair. I had to fix my hair after I looked
know.
at you. So, Lasia, we just wanted to.
I just rolled out of bed. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you woke up like that. Okay, Lasia, so the Vice Speaker, Talina Nelson, it was kind of like a little aside that she had talked about in the hearing. I know the conversation was really about the gambling, but she kind of just threw in that the Hagatna Revitalization was not shouldn't be a priority. And I know you took offense to that, and you kind of have been, that person who's always trying to just, be on the defensive about why revitalizing Hagatna as a long-term strategy is important. So we just wanted to get you on, and if you could just, I don't know if it's the right word to ask you to justify Hagatna Revitalization as a priority, but, for lack of a better way to put it, please do.
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me on here. I appreciate, the platform. I just want to just start off with saying, I personally empathize with the senator. I think it's very important that we address the opioid problem, drug problem, addiction problem here on Guam. I personally have family members that are affected by this. Members of my own LGBTQ community are affected by this. So I think it's very important. But I felt a little bit dismissed at the importance of what we're trying to do as well. There are short-term strategies and long-term strategies, and revitalizing and restoring Hagatna is a long-term strategy. That's going to save us millions of dollars in taxpayer money that can go to other public services like treating drug addiction, or Guam Police Department or Fire Department, other services like that. Just off the top of my head, Gov Guam is we're paying $12 million per annum in rent to the private sector. And if we were to centralize our government, build the land resources building, which I'm working on right now, and administration buildings for the senators, we could save up to $6 million per annum in rent that can go to other services. And once we do have that critical mass of bodies in Hagatna, re-centralizing the government, which is a priority of the governor, the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration. Once we have that critical mass down in Hagatna, that'll pave the way for further economic opportunities. We'll have to have services for all the government workers in Hagatna, restaurants, more tourist attractions, cafes, markets, more revenue generating opportunities that will go back into the community. There are things like that I think kind of she missed out on as an agency. I understand that this is dire times, and we've taken austerity measures here at HRA. We didn't get much money last year for our agency. In fact, we got zero for equipment. Everything that we have is borrowed. I'm working off my own personal laptop for the past year and a half, but we've been able to source a lot of our own furniture this year through private donations from the private sector, and we've saved tens of thousands of dollars of taxpayer money by just utilizing our network and being resourceful. One other thing I wanted to say is that HRA does have a dedicated funding source. It's never been implemented in the 23 years that we've existed. And I'll just read this off the law. It says all taxes assessed, levied, and collected by the government of Guam by virtue of the real property tax law on improvements, buildings, and structures to be constructed within Hagatna over and above the real estate taxes currently assessed, levied, and collected. That's the year that this law came into place, which is 1997.
So, Lasia, do you have maybe like a guesstimate of how much money that funding source that you say hasn't been implemented would provide for HRA?
Well, right now there seems to be a lapse in reporting. We're working with Department of Revenue and Tax and DPW and Land Management to assess that. And right now they've submitted to us only 15 properties on their list that are paying taxes. And there's got to be more than 15 properties that have been built or improved upon since 1997. So this is a priority. And I went into this in a lot of detail in my presentation to the legislature, our budget presentation. I went into that, and it's going to take a bit of manpower to assess that. And, if we're not funded, we can't figure this out. I only had one staffer until December of last year. Then we had an AO come in, another planner, and then COVID hit. So we're playing catch up. But I think that it was misleading for her to say that we shouldn't be funded. I think in the long term, that this is going to benefit our island greatly. Another source of funding is through federal grants. Most of the projects that we want to implement, we've included in the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy. And that allows us to maximize the economic development potential by engaging with the U.S. EDA and other federal partners to receive infrastructural and technical assistance grants. So, for instance, right now we're commencing with the Hagatna River feasibility study, and initially that was going to cost $3 million. And our portion of that was going to be 1.2 million GovGuam was going to have to pay. But this administration, the governor was able to have that fee waived. So the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is going to shoulder that entire cost, saving the taxpayers $1.2 million. So we're being as resourceful as we can. We do have a dedicated funding source. The senator, she wasn't there during our presentation. I'd be happy to sit down with her and go over all of this. But I just want everyone to know that we do have a dedicated funding source. It's not like we're asking money to be moved from one section to another.
Lasia, how would you with that dedicated funding source, right? So taking those taxes from all the Hagatna things is going to take that money away from the general fund, right? So are you confident that would be, again, the best use of the resources now that we're in this post-COVID cash crunch that could extend into well beyond next year?
Well, like I said, I think that, developing and constructing these particular buildings is going to save us millions of dollars in rent. Just the land resources building and administrative buildings, the senatorial buildings. More than half the senators right now are out in the private sector paying rent in private buildings. We could have a building built for them on government land that would save rent and increase efficiency.
How soon, though, are we going to be looking at, like, when the dirt is going to be turned and we're actually going to start building?
Can you repeat that?
How soon till we break ground? Because I think a lot of the reason why you get so much flack is that this is something that's been in existence for a couple decades, and now we're jumping back in it, firing it up, and who knows? Are we still a couple decades away from breaking ground on any of the big projects that we have planned to revitalize Hagatna?
Well, I'm working on an MOA with Department of Land Management right now to take the lead on the land resources building. We have the plans. They just need to be updated. Most of the funding is already there. Working with Gita to source the balance that we would need. This is definitely a priority. I think the governor wants us to break ground within the next, couple of years on this project, and I think that's going to pave the way and kind of be the light at the end of the tunnel. Not to mention also, I think developing and restoring Hagatna will instill a sense of pride in our people. You'll remember what Hagatna was like during FestPac. How many people were there, the bodies. Right. There's just this sense of cultural engagement and pride and energy. And I think that's going to emanate from Hagatna out to all the other villages, and I think it's a positive thing. Yeah, no,
I mean, we sit around all day and we complain that the government of Guam doesn't do any long-term planning, and then when we try and do long-term planning, everyone, to bite your head off. So I get it. I get what we're trying to do with Hagatna, and I understand the long-term benefits. I think the question is, can we afford those long-term benefits now in this short-term cash crunch? But hey, I mean, pretty sure you guys will figure that out. Lasia, man, I want to thank you for coming on, and let's kind of make this a regular thing. I think that the more you get out here and plead your case, the easier it'll be for you to get that support that you need. Maybe even from your own oversight chair.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Hey, have a good weekend, Lasia.
You too. Have a good weekend.
Okay. Adjust. 7:52. Let's take a short break, and we'll come back with more of The Link on the Breeze 93.9. Good morning.
45 never looks.